It's the holiday season. Let's make a dessert. Let's make a pretty cool dessert. Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to Dave Guerra, This Vet Cooks. And what are we doing today? Well, it is the holiday season. We're officially in it now. That's it. We're all in. And we're going to make a dessert. We're going to make a cool dessert. We're going to do a white chocolate cranberry cake. Again, white chocolate cranberry cake. It's got 3 layers. It's got cranberries in it. 'Tis the season. And it's got white chocolate. So let's get started. Now, for this recipe, it's going to be in 4 parts. Now, it's all in one episode. It's all in one episode. But it takes 4 parts to make it. And actually, it takes 2 days or 1 evening over the course of 1 day, 1 night, the next day. You put it all together. So plan accordingly. And the first thing we're going to do, well, we're going to do the compote. There's a cranberry compote. That's what's going to go in between the layers. Then we're going to do the cake. Now, those two, once we're done making those individual components, we're going to put them in the fridge overnight. And then tomorrow, we're going to do the assembly. We're going to do a candied cranberries that's going to go on top, and we're going to do the white chocolate buttercream frosting. So it's a lot, but you break it out, you time it just right, you'll have a very good dessert. All right, so let's get started with part 1, and that's going to be the compote, the cranberry compote. And for that, we're going to need 2 cups of fresh cranberries, 1/2 cup water, 1 cup of sugar in this case, but we're going to use Splenda, 1 cup of Splenda for this one. Alrighty, and then 1 tablespoon cornstarch sifted. 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Yikes, so be careful now. Mind you, if you're on a diet or you need to watch your sugar intake, cornstarch is notorious for shooting up your blood sugar level. But again, we're going to be cooking with it, so it's going to be distributed throughout the entire cake. So yes, you can have some. All in moderation. I'm going to be doing that, all in moderation. So we'll be doing that. We'll take care of that here. And then we're going to work on the cake. But first things first, let's get the compote done. Come on. All right, so the first thing it says to do is to, in a small saucepan, combine the cranberries, sugar, and water over medium heat. Stir to dissolve the sugar, and then cover to allow the cranberries to cook and soften. They're going to basically pop. So it's kind of like we're making just regular cranberry sauce. So we'll get in here, we'll do this. And mind you, it's 1/2 cup of water, and I'm using Splenda. Put it in there. We'll go quick. And here's our 2 cups of cranberries. Right, so we're going to cover this, and again, we got to keep an eye on it so it doesn't. When they start to pop, now we move in, and we're going to go ahead and add our cornstarch, or 1 tablespoon. We're going to just pour it in there until it all mixed together. All right, so we'll be right back. There it is. It's starting to get almost jelly-like. I already added the cornstarch. Got to be careful. Definitely have to sift it, otherwise you're going to get little pockets, little bundles of cornstarch, and then they're just going to be brutal. So work it, make sure you sift it, get it through. Some are going to happen. It's going to happen, but for the most part, once you've incorporated the cornstarch into the the sugar, water, and cranberry blend there, or the mix, another 5 to 10 minutes, and then you're going to take it off, let it cool down, store it overnight. So this will be part 2 of the whole process, but this is our first step tonight. So with that being said, we'll wrap this up here in just a minute, then we'll get started on the cakes. All right, now for the cake. Let's go over the ingredient list for the cake. It's going to be 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 cups of unsalted butter, room temperature, don't do what I did, wait till the last minute, room temperature. All right, 2 cups of sugar, in this case we're using Splenda, 2 cups of Splenda, because sugar and Splenda 1 for 1. 3 eggs, again at room temperature, 1 tablespoon of pure vanilla extract. Guess what? We're going to use that vanilla extract we made. That's right. And 1 vanilla bean. 1 vanilla bean. So yes, we're gonna empty out one of these. We're just gonna scrape it, cut it open, scrape out all the bean, put it into the mixture. All right. So that's the 1 vanilla bean. What else do we need? A couple more things. 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt, room temperature, and 1 cup buttermilk, again also at room temperature. We've got all the ingredients. Let's head on over to the mixer and let's get things going. All right, so the first thing it says to do is we got to get some 8-inch pans ready to go. It says to spray them and then throw down some parchment paper underneath and then spray that on top. So what's going to happen is when the cake cooks and we're ready to dump it, it's just going to fall right out because it's on the parchment paper. We can peel that off later once it's cooled. Don't forget, do not eat the parchment paper. Don't eat the parchment paper. It's got to come off. All right, so again, 3 pans. Alrighty, let's get it. All right, now let's move on over to the mixer. What are we going to do now? We're going to cream the butter and the Splenda together. And so there's the there's the 1.5 cups unsalted butter, and we're going to do 2 cups of sugar. In this case, 2 cups of Splenda. Blenda, yeah, that too. There's the 1 cup. Here we go. We let it run for about 3 minutes. I know the recipe said 1 minute, 3 minutes. It looks really nice, very well incorporated. Now we're going to turn it back on, and we're going to start incorporating our eggs. There they are right here. Now, while it was running and we had those 3 minutes, went ahead and sifted the flour, the baking powder, and the salt in a medium bowl, and we have it ready to roll into here. But for now, what it does say is add the eggs one at a time until incorporated. Scrape down the sides of the bowl. We're going to do that again here in just a second. Whoa, that fell down. Alrighty, here we go. Alright, there they are. They're out of the oven 35 minutes later. I did the toothpick test on both of them and they both ran clean. And that's what you want. So we're going to let them cool for about 5 to 10 minutes before we invert them onto the wire rack. And it should fall right out because we have that parchment paper underneath. Alright, this is 2. We still have a third one to do. But we're on track and it's looking good. Alright, there it is. It's in the pan. It's not too thick in the pan. And so it should be fine. But let's go ahead and get it in there. 35 minutes and we're rocking and rolling. Alright, it's the next day. That's right. Yeah, it slept overnight, so everything's resting in the fridge. So that would be the compote and the cakes. Now the cakes did come out a little thin, so we're just trying to figure out why it came out thin. And again, it might be that I used the right amount of baking powder. Did not ask for baking soda, baking powder, so that should have leavened it a little, picked it up a little bit. But well, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it tastes. We'll see how the assembled product looks. That might also be what's going on. So it could just be that it just needed that. But I'm looking at the photo, and the photo, I don't know if you can see it here, and you'll see it online when you click on the link to the recipe. It's kind of stacked up there, so I'm not too sure what's going on, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I mean, I followed the recipe to a T. You saw that, so we'll get it figured out. All right. Next, so what's on tap for today? All right. Well, today we're going to do the assembly. But before we do the assembly, we're going to do the candied cranberries, and then we're going to do the buttercream. Yeah, we'll do the buttercream. That's the white chocolate buttercream. We'll be doing that. Then we'll start doing the assembly. And so, come on, let's get started. For the buttercream, or the white chocolate buttercream, here's the ingredient list. 2 cups unsalted butter, 2 cups of unsalted butter, 6 cups powdered sugar, measured and then sifted, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 8 ounces of white chocolate, melted, and a 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. We're going to get some cream. We're going to whip it real good. Remember that song? Alrighty. And the buttercream recipe makes enough to fill and cover your cake. If you want to add additional piping, you'll want to make an extra half batch. So that's in the instructions. So we're just going to go right away and just take care of this. Alright, so let's get started on the buttercream, and then the last thing we'll do is the candied cranberries, because they got to sit for an hour before we can even use them. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and get let's get this going. All right, let's go over the ingredients. You're going to need some powdered sugar, 2 cups of butter, some heavy whipping cream from our local H-E-B. Love this place. Some of our homemade vanilla, and of course white chocolate. We're going to use some chips here to melt. So we're going to be heating up the whipping cream, and we're going to use that 8 ounces of the chocolate. We're going to melt that down. And then we're going to go ahead and cream the butter, and then we'll start incorporating everything together into the mixer. So let's get started. I like noise. I like waking up the house, and that's what we're about to do. We're about to wake up the house. We got to cream the butter. So let's get these sticks in here, and let's cream the butter. There we go. Got extra stuff out of there. Good butter, unsalted butter. It's the first quality. Cup and a half, and here is the other half. Alright, it said about 2 to 3 minutes and medium speed. So let's cream this. Alright, there it is. It's creamed. And let's go ahead and we're going to turn it on low again, and we're going to slowly incorporate the melted chocolate. Alright, now I'm going to just go ahead and scrape down the sides. A lot of butter up here on the sides. That is very good. Alright, the next thing we got to do now is incorporate 6 cups of powdered sugar. Let's get started. Alright, now it's time to add the vanilla. 1 teaspoon. And then medium-high for about 5 minutes. There it is, after 5 minutes of just letting it go, and looks great, fluffed up. It's stiff, it's got little peaks. Alright, now, so we've started with the candied cranberries. And right now we're doing a simple syrup mixture. 1 cup water, 1 cup of sugar, real sugar. And got to bring that to a little simmer until it all blends. And then we're going to let that sit for a little bit, and then we will get that going on. So we'll change cameras here in a second. Alright, now we incorporate the 2 cups of cranberries into our simple syrup. It's rested for 10 minutes. The simple syrup rested for 10 minutes. And now we just cover these up. Make sure that they all get nice and coated with that simple syrup. Then we're going to put it in the fridge for a couple of hours. Again, the longer the better, but we're on a time limit here, so we're going to do it for a couple of hours in the fridge, and every couple of 30 minutes or so, 15 minutes or so, just come back and turn these around a little bit. Alrighty. While this is happening, we're going to go ahead and frost the cake, get the compote in there. Remember that compote? We're going to get that in there as well. You'll see how all of that happens here in just a bit. Alright, let's begin the assembly. There's that first piece, and like I said, see, it's really thin. Not too sure what's going on, but 3/4 of a cup of frosting right here, so that's definitely going to elevate things. So let's see what 3/4 of a cup looks like. Right, so there's one. It's made more of a mess. There's half a cup. That's going to be thick. That is 3/4 of a cup, folks. Folks, it's just a Lazy Susan. That's all we got. We got this on a Lazy Susan. And we're going to take it to the edge. And it does make it easier to spread. Now, this is all by feel right now, right? Get it out there, get it out to the edge, and then come back and do the finishing touch. Figure out where it's not level, and go ahead and fix it. Alright, now, just off camera and just to the north of your screen, there it is. There's the compote from yesterday. This is it right here. Alright, now we're going to put it here in the center. However, we're going to do a little piping. We're going to pipe some of the frosting all the way around to create this little barrier. And then on the inside is going to go the compote. And then we're going to layer. Repeat this process again. Alrighty, with the help of Mrs. Isfet Cooks, she'll be doing the piping, I'll be doing the spinning. And we're creating that barrier because inside this is where the compote is going to go. We're going to spoon that in here in just a second. Look at those skillful hands. We're just using a Ziploc bag, folks. You don't need a pastry bag or any of that fancy schmancy stuff. There it is. There's our barrier. Look at that. And just adjusting. There we go. Now don't forget, we're going to put this compote down, and then the next layer is going to go down. Here's our compote. Nothing fancy. We're going to stay inside the barrier, so we're going to be good. So there's our compote. Now there's going to be 3 layers, and so we're going to use half the compote on this layer, and then the next one, and then the frosting, and then the remaining compote, and then the top will just have the frosting, and then the candied cranberries will go there. So, get this up here. Oh, it's nice and dense. And because it is dense, it's easy to separate. Because it's cool. Remember, it sat there overnight. It's almost like cranberry sauce. Alrighty. Ooh, gotta take it careful not to go to the edge. Not too thin, and we start moving the frosting around. Alright, so again, using the skillful hands of Mrs. Isfet Cooks, she will be taking it out to the edge, out to the precipice of the barrier. Oh, that looks delicious. Now, when we put the next layer, the barrier prevents the cranberries from spilling out. That's how the pros do it. I'm not a pro, but hey, I'm just reading the recipe. Now, mind you, this is just cranberries. You could use other berries other times of the year, but it is cranberries, so why not? And but again, you can always replace this with a different type of fruit compote. It'll be just as good because it's white chocolate and then the fruit. All right, look at that. Look at that. Wow. Alrighty, now we're ready to move on to our second layer. There it is. Alrighty, remember we had to wrap it individually. Look how thin it is, but now it's starting to take shape. I think we got it in the first try. Not bad, not too shabby. Well, there we go. Yeah, now it's over an inch. That's gonna get, yeah, okay. Alrighty, let's continue here. 3/4 of a cup. Again, very rich, very decadent, but again, moderation, folks, moderation. I know I'll be moderating, maybe right about here, but go ahead and get this spread. There they are, finishing touches on that, all to the edge. Now, Mrs. Isfet Cooks going to pipe the ends here. I'll do the spinning. That's it. Oh, look at that. Awesome. With a little extra, we got a lot of frosting, so definitely that's a good thing. All right, let's get this compote in there. And in this case, it's just going to be the whole thing.
Around.
You want to give it a little spin, please? Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. That's very good. Outstanding. Looks fantastic. Looks delicious. All right, now we're going to do the last layer. However, it calls for the bottom side, again, to get it all nice and even. So the bottom side goes down, up, and because it's bottoms up, and 10 minutes in the freezer before we continue with the frosting. I think we got it. All right, 10 minutes in the freezer. What's going to happen is going to help solidify what's going on around here, because now we've got a lot of pressure we're going to be putting on here, and then we're also going to be frosting the entire side. So let's go ahead, get it in the freezer. We'll see you in about 10 minutes. All right, 10 minutes in the freezer, and it got frosting on it. It's not frost, no, it's actual frosting. Again, read the instructions. I failed to do that. It said to put in a crumb layer of frosting. Basically, you just want to lock things down. Nothing fancy. You still see the sides here and things like that, and you can almost see through the top. Now we're going to get fancy. Now we're going to go ahead and put the rest of the frosting on top, on the sides. Let's make it happen. Oops. There's my handle. There's my handle. And there we go. We'll get that across the top. There's more. There's always more. But hey, you don't want to fight with it, give it to the kids. Or hell, keep it for yourself. Shit. Oops. Uh-oh, there goes our PG-13 rating. Alrighty. Then again, hey. Just the infantryman in me letting you know. Just reminding you, once an infantryman, always an infantryman. Alrighty, there we go. Alright, let's go ahead and this is Suspect Cooks. We'll take it on that other side and we'll start spinning this around. Just going to add more to what's already there. Really love this Lazy Susan. Now, if you see this recipe and you look at the recipe and you visit the website where the recipe is and you go like, man, this is a very difficult, very involved recipe. It is, but it's why it helps when you have someone there helping you, inspiring you, motivating you, and checking your work. Because once the finished product is done, hey, happy holidays.
Gently start smoothing the sides and see how that looks.
Alrighty. Can you?
Yeah, the top is way high. You know me? Here. Just because this is way too high.
Okay.
And we've got this spot down here that hit cake again.
Alright, now as Mrs. Zisvik Cook is putting the finishing touches on the frosting and just making sure all the spots are filled, we're going to let it sit. We're going to wait another hour before we start working with the candied cranberries, and we're going to roll them into sugar. And then we're going to let them sit for an hour so they can dry, and then we're going to place them up here all nice and neat. No tweezers. We're not using tweezers. It's not that kind of a show. Seriously, I saw this somebody was promoting a restaurant here in my neck of the woods, and it's a really high quote unquote. They're trying to be artsy and nice. So in the promo video, the cook, and definitely the cook, he had some mushrooms he was going to move from the pan he was cooking into a plate to serve it. So he breaks out the big tweezers and he grabs the mushrooms, and then he goes over here and lays them out with his fingers. Just grab it with your hands and put it on the thing if you're going to use your fingers. What's the point of the tweezers is what I say. So, again, that's just my observation. If you're going to use tweezers, go all in. Otherwise, just use your hands. Don't even bother. Oh, that looks great. And of course, again, presentation, it's up to you if you want to clean all of this up.
I will.
We will, because it's delicious. Alrighty. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here on this segment. Next segment will be there it is. It's the candied cranberries. We're almost done, but not yet. Alrighty, now we're going to roll our candied cranberries in sugar. So what we're going to do is get some sugar here on a plate. A lot more sugar. Now, the grains here are a little more fine. They're a little more smaller. So it's up to you. You can use the regular, larger grain sugar, and it'll be great. It'll really prominently show. In this case, it'll still show once it dries up. But there we go. There's our cranberries. All right, give them a little stir to get them all wet again. And then I'm just going to roll them around. Now we could do that, or we could put the cranberries in a small container. You could put the cranberries in here, then pour the sugar and just bounce them around. See what that looks like. And you can see what it did there. It creates that Look at that. Much better. Look much nicer, a little more festive. So we'll go ahead and do the rest of them here. Oh yeah, look at that. Much, much better. They look better aesthetically. Coated. And this is just parchment paper and the 9x13 cover for a plastic 9x13 container. Alrighty. We'll see you in a bit. There they are. Now we just got to let them dry for an hour. It'll be good to go. Then we'll assemble or put the finals. This will be the final assembly on the cake. And we'll be ready to go. See you in an hour. Alright, so we're waiting for these things to finish drying out here. I want to take a moment to say thank you to everybody that's liked, watched any video, liked the video they watched it all the way through to the end, commented, shared, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and then hit that notification bell. That way you know the next time I post a video. And hey, it's the holiday season. More of them are coming. So again, thank you very much for doing this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you. I do appreciate it. And if you comments, appreciate your comments. Again, as always, let me know if you've ever made any of these recipes, and if you have, how did it turn out for you? And of course, if you have a favorite recipe or something to say, hey Dave, why don't you give this a try? Let me know in the comments. I put it on the list because we're still building the list for next year and for 2025. So I want to get yours in there if you've got one. So again, don't hesitate to let us know. Alrighty. Also, again, veterans, you know the deal. It's all over here. Veterans Crisis Line. Make the call, 988, hit dial, and then when the automated attendant answers, press 1. Make the call. Don't delay, don't hesitate. Visit the website, veteranscrisisline.net. You can chat there you can chat there anonymously, but again, if you need some help and then you want to get specific, they're going to need some additional information from you. So again, don't hesitate to peel back a layer, and of course you can always text them. And again, all of that information is right here, and of course it's on the website, and it's always at the end of the show notes. So again, don't hesitate to make the call, especially now during this time of celebrating and joyous festivities and family and friends. It can get rough, it can get a little dark, but don't hesitate. Make the call. That's what they're there for. So again, all right, let's go ahead and let's put these. Let's wait for these to finish drying and just put them on top of the cake. And then we'll see the finished product here in just a bit, and we'll give it a little tasty taste as well. Alrighty, thanks a lot. Let's go back to waiting. Now the final touch, the finishing touch. We're going to put the candied cranberries on top of this cake right here. And yeah, I had to break down. I went ahead and got these little ice cube hors d'oeuvre tweezers. But what's going to do, it's going to help, because that way the sugar doesn't get on my fingers. And there it goes. I don't know what to do here. It just fell. No, there's one on the ground. It rolled off.
I was going to say maybe push it down a little bit.
Yeah. It rolled that way. What are you wearing?
Hairspray. You want to go at?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to go hands-on. Just know that when we cut it,
yeah.
hey, it's not sticking to my fingers. All right. I mean, just a loose sugar. All right, so there it is. Yeah, so we tried that, but you saw that roll off and just kept on going. We have yet to find it. That's all right. We will. Yeah, the dog will definitely find it. Put a cranberry in the middle, and let's continue. That's a lot. It's 2 cups of cranberries, so as little or as much as you want. Just creating like a little dimple in the on the icing here. Alrighty, so there it is. You see we've got it covered. There's a whole bunch more. You can save those for something else or add them on after you slice the cake. And but there it is, the white chocolate cranberry cake. Wow. Alrighty, looks delicious. Looks delicious enough to eat. We'll take some pictures. We'll cut it up. We'll be back for the tasty taste in just a bit. Here it is, the white chocolate cranberry cake. There's all the layers. There's the compote, the layer of the cake, the frosting, that buttercream frosting, of course, the candied cranberries. Delicious. You saw that, just that shot of the cake there. It's outstanding. Trust me, it's heavy too. You know, those 3 layers of cake really didn't feel that heavy together, but put it all together, this plate alone feels heavy. Let's give it a tasty taste and let's get to work on this cake. Oops, drop that on the side. Give it a shot. I'm Dave Guerra, and this vet cooks and bakes.